This Hangout on Air is our summary for the week. Our longer discussion continues each week on our conference line after the summary, and also we have additional sessions on either Tuesday or Thursday. You're welcome to join us at any of these and bring your questions. So let's get to our weekly summary, and here's Tara. We've often said the truth of who you are and why you're here is elegantly simple. And as you might expect, it is. You don't have to spend years studying theology. There's no inherently complicated spiritual structure behind it all. You don't have to go through life after life to progress towards enlightenment. There's no purpose you are here to fulfill. There's no old souls or new souls. There can't be, because time is something that only exists in worlds like this physical stage you're currently choosing to play on. You're all infinitely old. You're all simultaneously occupying infinite versions of you, playing in infinite games in an infinite variety of realms. One version of you is us. When we say that, some of you think, well, that's not simple, that's mind-blowing. Well, yes, we'll grant you that you have to start thinking outside the box of your old ideas. And yes, you could describe that as mind-blowing, but that doesn't make it complex. You're a timeless, always connected extension of the collective consciousness of all that is. Your thoughts created you and continue to create you and the matching world that surrounds you. That's it. That's the whole shooting match. That's the basis of everything. If complexity exists, it's because you created it. You can and do make up complex stories. But at the core of it all, it's simple. So if it's that simple, how come we're intersecting here once again today and answering your questions about how to create things differently? Because in some versions of you, perhaps the particular version you're consciously inhabiting right now, you've become so engaged in your story, so caught up in the details and the apparent reality of this space-time world you've created, that you've forgotten who you are. Then your mind might jump to, well, if that's true, then how come almost nobody around here understands that? We say, don't look to the world around here for answers, because that world will always be your matching creation. Look within. That's where the story comes from. So then some of you respond with, okay, you get who you are and you get the law of attraction and all that stuff, but you're still not manifesting what you want. Why is it so hard? Well, let's spend some time today on what it is that you want and what makes it hard or easy. By law of attraction, every body and everything in your world is a match to what you have chosen to believe and expect. Those choices set the boundaries of the stage upon which you're playing your game. Your choices are all made consciously. Then they're stored away superconsciously in what we call your tapestry of expectations. Your certainties will always show up. Your impossibilities will never show up. Your probabilities and possibilities will be as you have judged them to be, likely or unlikely. Let's start by looking at what's easy for you, your certainties. When you woke up this morning, you didn't wake up into a world that's external to you. You stepped consciously once more onto your stage, with space and time and gravity and light and a bed and floor and walls and windows. It was all there instantly, without focus, energy, or attention, because you knew at all levels of your being, consciously and superconsciously, with absolute certainty that it would be. You were in alignment about it. If there's something you want and it seems difficult to manifest, it's always because consciously or superconsciously you have a stored belief that contradicts it. So to manifest something easily and instantly, you could simply choose at all levels to be certain about it. How on earth do you do that? We suggest start here. Give up on the idea that you decide what's likely by observing what is and making rational decisions. You don't. It's not the world that shows you what's probable. It's your decisions about what's probable that show you your world. What you believe becomes. Once you've got that radical idea down, once you've consciously locked onto knowing that it's your belief choices that create everything, now it's time to create that same knowing in your superconscious. And the good news is that you can use the same process you used to create that tapestry in the first place. You make a conscious decision, then remake it, then make it again. Practice, practice, practice. Find the processes that work for you and commit to using them. Nothing is more important than that. Now, very obviously, you don't have to be certain about everything for it to show up. You'll notice we said certainties show up easily and instantly. Probabilities show up a little less easily and or take a little time. Possibilities, even more so. The important thing to be aware of is, are there showstoppers sitting in that tapestry of yours? You'll never amount to anything. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to face reality, and so on. If you ask yourself what you truly believe and then listen, you will know by how you feel. Listen quietly. Listen deeply. Listen fearlessly, because you have nothing to fear. You will feel when you're out of alignment and needing some focus. This week, one of our members said, "But it's not as simple as you make it sound." She said that she'd had a long-standing belief about how youthful she looked, and yet the other day, one of her clients had described her as that old person. She was horrified, and she saw this as a clear example of how her beliefs were not creating her reality. As we talked with her, she began to see what she really believed. Do you see that if that so-called long-standing belief of hers had been a certainty, she could never have been horrified, because she would have known without even thinking, that the client was describing someone else, and she would have been absolutely right. Let's also talk a little here about what Deepak Chopra calls detachment. If there's something you really want, notice how you're holding it. Eager anticipation is wonderful. Doubt and second-guessing yourself is going to keep you out of alignment with it, and then it cannot manifest. So be detached, in a sense, from the end result. Allow it to flow naturally. Allow something even better to show up. Settle back into the general knowing that you are the creator of it all. And if you just choose thoughts that feel good, then you can know with certainty that you're heading towards what you want. When you really get down to it, knowing the fundamentals of who you are, what you discover is that life is meant to be easy, that the greatest joy comes from knowing your power to create anything and using that power for this today and for something different tomorrow. From Abraham this week came these words: when you are really in the flow with your inner being, ideas come easily. They are implemented easily. It's fun while you're in the process of them. And it doesn't matter how they unfold, and nothing can go wrong. It doesn't matter if you don't get it done. It's just fun to do. Your inner being feels no limit. So anything that feels like limits is something that you have self-imposed. If something happens to you that you can't believe, stop and think, because two things are for sure. One is that you do believe it, or at least that it's a possibility. And the other is, whether you love it or like it or hate it, it is a match to who you are right now. If you love it, embrace it and revel in your creative ability. If you hate it, embrace your newfound insight and, once again, revel in your creative ability. And then from that evolving place of awareness, answer the perennial question, what do you want now? And in this now, let's move to our longer discussion and to your questions.